describe yourself in just 3 words.
Quirky, versatile, sensitive.
What's one skill you are working on mastering right now?
Patience.
If you could swap lives with any other celebrity just for a day, who would it be and why?
I would like to do that with Amitabh Bachchan, sir.
What's your hidden talent?
I paint very well.
So, hi Vihaan, thank you so much for speaking to Spill the Beans on CNN News 18. How are you? I can clearly sense you're on cloud nine after success of Call Me Bae, Mr. Agastya Chaudhary.
I mean, it is pretty nice to have a show that's successful, I'll say that. Obviously, a long way to go for me, but I'm trying to take it in and enjoy the popularity and all that stuff. I
When
am very excited for my next film, Control, which is out on October 4th. Uh,
Mhm.
so it's nice to have releases because you see everything that you've worked for coming to fruition finally.
And when the script of Call Me Bae first came to you initially, what were the thoughts in your mind? Did you think that, the challenges that you've been talking about, that, you want to take up the challenges when it comes to your roles, was it one of it?
Yeah, I think for me, it was, I usually get, or I've usually done roles that are more green flaggy or like kind or sensitive or understanding. So for me, I really wanted to bring out a part of myself that was bold and confident and pushy. Um, and I was really happy that I saw that in Call Me Babe because I immediately got the script and I said, this is completely different to what I've done. Was very excited, auditioned. Colin, our director, liked it. He called me in. We had a very frank discussion. It was also important for me not to just play a person who's one dimensional, one tone. Agastya is very layered. And it was important for me to bring out all parts of him. And it's not just a black and white good guy, bad guy. And that was very important to me to work in something where that's not the case.
Hmm. Also, if I could ask you about your journey straight from the US to Mumbai, how did it pan out? From birth to now control, how has it been?
The long story, uh, I'll give you the short version. I graduated with a degree in acting from the US, from NYU. Um, and I was auditioning there for a lot of roles. And my first role was a role in a film called Worth opposite Michael Keaton. And then I kind of decided that I want to come back home and work because home is home and you can't ever replace that. Um, Also, there was this feeling that there were certain scripts that I was looking at that I felt more connected to when I was in India in terms of there's a certain slot you can get slotted into in the US sometimes. Also, there were a lot of visa complications and stuff like that. So I was just missing home, and I thought there was a lot of amazing work happening here. Sacred Games had already released; it had been a while. A lot of stuff was coming up. So I thought this was the right place to be. Home was the right place to be, and thankfully it was. And so I came back, started auditioning again in Bombay, and then I got cast in Mismatched. Um, and that happened close to around 4 years ago, I want to say now. And then from there, I just started kept auditioning and started working more and more. And that's been the journey.
And since you've talked about mismatch, I would really like to know what kind of role mismatched played in your life. How did the life change after it?
I think it just came at the right time.
Hmm.
Sometimes you run things very serendipitous way. I remember I had met or been introduced to the casting director Panchami Khapri, and I remember I'd also met Akash Khurana. I'd seen a play of his after I met him called Dekh Behan. I'd also seen Akash Khurana's plays at Prithvi Theatre as a child, as a young teenager. For a couple of years, like 4, 5 years before I went to college, I'd been seeing his stuff. So I knew he existed and his theatre company existed. And I knew that they do really good work. So I managed to meet Akash Khurana and I had a conversation with him. And he didn't say like I'm doing this or doing that. It was just a very nice conversation. We connected because we went to the same school growing up called Arya Vidya Mandir. And we just spoke about theatre and acting. And he said, "Come see my play, Dekh Behan." So I saw Dekh Behan and I said, "This is a fantastic play. I love your style." He said, "Great, cool." And then he kept me in mind because 6 months later, and he suggested to Panchmi that I should come in and audition for this role. And Panchmi said she already had met me before and knew of me. So I remember going in for the audition, and I did the audition, and I asked the guy there saying, "Is this an American character?" And he said, "Yeah." तो I said, "तो फिर उसका accent होगा ना?" So he said, "Yeah, आप कर सकते हो?" तो मैंने बोला, "हाँ, मैं ट्राई कर सकता हूँ." And as it happened, all my experience from working in the US and being in the US for the past 5 years came into use because I could just quickly switch into that accent. So I just pulled it out, and the casting guy was like, हाँ ये तो सही है. I'm like, cool. And then I left. And then a week later, I got a call saying they've put you on a short list and further conversations and all that. So I think sometimes it's the right role, right time. Obviously now doing that accent for me is much harder. Um, I'm I'm not that connected to the US anymore. I'm a different person. Um, that time I just come back. So it was like the NRI role was easy to do. Anyway,
Hmm.
now when I go back to season two, three, or whatever, I have to practice a bit more to get that ease back. Because the way you change, the way you talk as a person changes through the years. For me, at
Hmm.
least.
And what kind of preparations you had to do for the role of Agastya? If I could ask you, how much Agastya are you in your real life?
I'm not I'm quite different from him. Preparation in the sense I had to understand where he comes from, what his ideals are, what is his love languages. You know, some people they just assume that because of a person ignores his wife. I mean, in a certain setting, the setting is that he's going to see Elon Musk. So I can kind of understand why he needs to rush instead of like consoling his wife because he has to meet Elon Musk. Okay, it's not like just another Tuesday. Anyway, so people assume that there is something evil or something villainous or something just not good about people like that. But I had to understand and dig deep and say, where does he come from? What were his parents like? What were his grandparents like? It is very possible his grandparents grew up very poor and decided to establish an empire and work their entire life to never have that feeling of lack or that lack of security ever again. And that was their priority. This value could have been passed down through generations. His father, for example, could have expanded the empire. And this is what he's grown up being taught that the most important thing in life is to never let the business fail, to always make sure we have enough money, because we never want to feel what our grandfather felt growing up his entire life. Now, from that perspective, if that is what a child is taught to value, what kind of adult is he going to grow into be? Is he going to be an adult who values a meeting with Elon Musk? Or is he going to be a person who values a conversation, emotional conversation with his wife in this moment, which he thinks can happen later? It
Hmm.
is about love languages. He might not be a words of affirmation person. He might not be a physical touch person, but you can be rest assured he is an acts of service person. He's a gifts person, and that's what he's learned is important. No other woman in the world for him, according to him, will be able to get a cricket team as quickly as he gets it for Bella. No other woman will be able to buy a yacht with a card that he's providing. So in a sense, he thinks he's providing something very special. And these other things that are happening are not that important to him. Like he says, burpees are not everything. He says it.
Hmm.
So I think it's very important I mean, I had to do a whole shift to try and understand him. I'm not like him necessarily. I value different things in life. But I had to bring out that part of me. And I have a couple of friends who are similar. Uh, and we don't villainize them or victimize them. It's just that this is the way they are, and you have to understand people. If you judge anyone in life, you're going to have a very sheltered view of the world. But if you try to understand people and why they do things, I think you'll have a more maybe balanced view of the world. And that's what I
Hmm.
try.
But if I could ask you the scoop, because in the last episode, we saw you going down on one knee, coming back to Bella, apologizing and saying that you are going to turn into a different person. What kind of scoop would you give to us about season two of Call Me Bae? Is it
You
already
know, the
on
thing is that
papers?
I want to give you scoop, but any scoop I give you will be not correct only because I've not read the script. तो मैं क्या बताऊं? तो इसलिए मैं सोच रहा हूँ. I think this Chal, take this as scoop. I think they will get remarried. I think they'll do their vows again. And I think
Hmm.
Neil will be the best man. And I think Prince will be the ring bearer. Chal,
And which marriage are we going to see being replicated in season two? If it is going to happen all over
ah,
again.
good one. What should we do? Should we do Anushka Virat?
Yeah, we can do, but we have already done Kiara and Sid, which happened after Anushka and Virat, so it will be, going back
I'll be going back.
and not
Acha, so what's the recent wedding? What's the recent wedding that has happened?
Rakul Preet.
हाँ चलो वो कर लेते
ठीक है, okay.
हैं। आपको परमिशन नहीं पूछते ना हम ऐसे ही कर लेते हैं।
Chalo, my next question would be about these back-to-back projects with Ananya Panday. How is the friendship between two of you from Call Me Bae to Control? How different, the friendship is going to be? What we are going to see in Control now this time?
So I'm union in the roles.
Yep. In the roles also and of the sets also, because both of you would be in different kind of mindset this time around.
Yeah, so first of all, off the sets is lovely. We were in the same school growing up in the Ambani school. I obviously have seen her working, and I've seen her work, and I've seen her grow as an actor and as a person, and I've been very proud of her and what she's achieved and her trajectory so far. And I actually signed Control first before Call Me Bae. So we got into this whole film zone and started shooting this, and then we came to Call Me Bae, and that rapport was already there. And it kind of helped because it was a bigger cast, so there wasn't that much time to like sit and like chat and get to know each other. So I'm glad we did the film first. Um, but the film is very different. It's not, first of all, you're not wealthy industrialists who are married from South Delhi. We are techies. Um, we are young influencers. Um, I play a character called Joe Mascarenas, who's a techie from Bangalore, and they've Manila, who's Ananya's character, and Joe have met and fallen for each other and started dating, and decided to build uh, a YouTube channel together. And then things happen in their relationship that causes them to fall apart and distance each other, themselves from each other. So drama is the same, actors are the same, characters are different, story is different, full experience is different. Actually, the movie is very different. It's very intense. It's very cyber thriller, cool technology. It's AI. It'll make you question everything you know about the world right now. Call Me Bay will make you question things about the world, but it's done in an engaging, digestible way, and it's a happier sort of piece. Control will mess with your head a little bit.
Hmm. And if I could ask you, because the question of ambient watching, this is the recent term which is doing rounds post the release of Emily in Paris also, and then when we saw Call Me Bay in Our Horizon, people have started talking about this ambient watching. Have you heard the term ambient watching?
Yeah, it's like putting on something and then doing
Yes,
something.
and then keep watching something on binge. So people have said that Call Me Bay is the perfect piece for ambient watching. What are your thoughts about it? Because I have read a lot of articles with netizens' reaction. They have sort of mixed reactions. Some of them could actually relate to Bella's character in the story, but some of them are like totally alienated with the fact that these things also happen in this world.
It's interesting. I think someone asked Somin, a creative producer, this question. And he said, I don't think anyone goes into this film business or this line of work trying to make something for ambient watching. None of us, because it's like saying like do you do your interviews for ambient watching? Do you do your interviews for people to like put it on in the back while making chutney? You know what I mean? Does I don't think I'm not sure if many artists or painters paint so that their work can be put up in a hotel room in a side closet, side room. See, now if you're going with that intention, I get it. I don't think Call Me Babe was made with that intention. I think people understand s- how much time we spend on each scene in the writing, in the blocking, in the art direction, in the costumes, in the shooting on set, in the angles, in the editing, in the color grading, in the post-production, if people understand with what specificity every single decision while making a piece of content is taken, I think they'll understand that everything is deliberate. Now, I'm not saying there might be some people who are making stuff for ambient watching. Maybe that stuff happens more on Instagram Reels or more new age media. But stuff in TV and film, I don't think we make it for ambient watching. Now, people are watching it that way, then I can't blame them. Like, whatever floats their boat. If you're seeing our show, you're seeing our show, and if you're enjoying it, you're enjoying it. Now, do I say don't watch our show that way? You watch however you want to. But whether it's made with that intention, I don't think so. But you enjoy. If you're enjoying, you enjoy. I cannot stop you from enjoying.
Interesting. But if I could ask you something that you've been talking about lately, when asked about choosing your roles, you have already said and been very vocal about I love to go sort of an adventure with the kind of roles that I'm picking up. It should be challenging. What challenges are you next looking forward to? What do you think is still untouched?
I mean, I think it's there's a lot of things with untouched. I mean, I have so much to do, genuinely. Um, I think in terms of one filmmakers I want to work with, there's so many talented people out there, and I can't wait to work with them. I think in terms of the characters I play, I think I'm looking now for something a bit more heartland, a bit more rural. I think a lot of the characters I play tend to be very urban or from cities or from metros. I think that's the next big challenge for me, and I'm very excited for it because I know I'm capable, and I know I'm very hardworking, and I have it in me. Um, and I think in terms of genres, like I think it's also important as an actor to adapt your tone to what is the requirement of the project, right? I have not explored horror. I have not explored biopics. I have not explored sci-fi. Um, so I think I'm excited to like do things in different genres.
That's really interesting. Even it will be very interesting for us to see you in more of the rural character.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Vihan, that was the end of our detailed discussion, but I have got a very quick rapid fire round that I have jotted down for you if you are
Okay.
ready.
I I think I'm ready. Chalo.
Okay, so your first question is describe yourself in just 3 words.
Um, Quirky, versatile, sensitive.
Okay, one thing you always carry with you.
My phone wallet. Um, I mean, I have my gym bag right here. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, in my gym bag come my shoot bag. I carry perfume, deodorant. Uh, uh, what is this thing? Moisture. What is it? Lip balm.
Liba.
Uh, sunscreen, moisturizer, my wallet, some extra emergency jewelry like rings and chains. Um, uh, yeah, a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. I forgot.
Who's your biggest inspiration in the industry?
यार बहुत है. I mean, it goes all the way from यार, it goes all the way from Shah Rukh Khan sir and to newer people. Uh, I, I'm I can't Irfan Khan sir. I saw his movie in the theaters when I was a young kid with my mom, and I was just taken. I didn't understand a word he said, but I was just taken aback by the way he was and his presence on screen. I'm also an admirer of people who have been working for a while, but now recently they've come to a lot more prominence, or maybe that's just my opinion. But I'm a huge fan of Deepak Dobriyal sir. I'm a huge fan of Gulshan Divaiya, who's very kind. Um, I think my friend Adarsh has been doing fantastic work. I'm constantly inspired by people around me and how they're pushing the limits of who they are and what they're doing.
Okay. What's one skill you are working on mastering right now?
Um, Patience.
Hmm. If you could swap lives with any other celebrity just for a day, who would it be and why?
I would like to do that with Amitabh Bachchan sir, just to understand everything he knows, everything he's lived through about what we call Bollywood and the Hindi film industry, um, and just the scope and breadth of his experience, and just I want to tap into his experiences once and just see what that feels like. And then I'm good. I'm happy with my life. I'll come back.
What's your hidden talent?
I paint very well.
Ooh, okay. Who is your current celebrity crush?
Uh, Deepak Dobriyal.
Okay.
He's done very well. Vikrant Massey, Deepak Dobriyal. They've done fantastic in Sector 36.
Yes, indeed. Do you have a fake Instagram account?
I might not.
What kind of answer is that?
Everything is not just yes, no. There's a gray area.
Okay, ठीक है. Then I'll accept that. And last but not the least, what's after control? What are you working on? What's the next big thing?
There's a show called The Royals that was announced recently, which is on Netflix, and it's got some fantastic people, including the very lovely and very graceful and talented Zina Daman, ma'am. Uh, so that will be releasing next year sometime. I'm not sure when, but it's already shot. So just look, that will also be there to look forward to.
Yay! And definitely looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Vihaan, for joining us here on CNN News 18 for this chat. All the very best for Control. All the very
Thank you.
best for Call Me Bae. Also, all
Thank
the
you.
very best for the Royals.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you. So nice to talk to you.
Likewise. Bye bye. Bye. Thanks,
Bye bye.
Sheetal. Ta-da.